You read a 300-page book, and a week later you can barely recall the main premise. For a lot of us, that blank space triggers a deep sense of failure, as if the hours spent reading simply dissolved into dust. We've been conditioned since grade school to equate rote memorization with intelligence. You sat at a desk for hours, drilling facts into your head so you could pencil in the correct bubble on a test, hoping to secure an unconscious level of status. The problem is that life doesn't hand you multiple-choice tests. Storing encyclopedias of facts in your head to sound smart at dinner parties doesn't actually help you make better decisions or secure your day-to-day survival. Take a look at this post. It states clearly, learning comes from struggle, not memorization. When you try to hoard information without a way to apply it, you are treating learning entirely as an input process. Striving to absorb information reverses the actual learning process. If you want to acquire knowledge that sticks, you have to demand an output first. Most attempts to learn fail immediately because they lack a negative feedback loop. If you don't have a clear target, making a mistake doesn't register as a problem because you have no trajectory to deviate from. Human learning operates through a system called cybernetics. The word comes from the Greek term for a helmsman steering a ship. A helmsman doesn't just point the wheel once and look away. They constantly read the wind, check the waves, and correct their course. This diagram illustrates the cybernetic system. The reference signal is your goal. A sensor reads your state, and a comparator calculates the gap. This error signal generates a cognitive filter. Without it, your mind floods with noise. With it, your brain blocks irrelevant input. The error signal generates relevance. You don't have to force yourself to study flashcards when a piece of information directly resolves the immediate roadblock you're facing. This relevance naturally forces your brain to lock it in. An intrinsic goal acts as the biological trigger that forces your brain to prioritize information based on its utility. This means you need to stop watching 20 hours of general tutorials before you try something new. Instead, start a meaningful project immediately. The project will ruthlessly expose the exact gaps in your knowledge, illuminating only the immediate steps in front of you. If you want to learn complex animation software or pick up the guitar, you don't start by studying the entire user manual or reading a textbook on music theory. You pick a specific animation you want to build or a single song you want to play. Then you search for the exact micro-technique required to solve the very first roadblock you hit, and you completely ignore everything else. By treating your life and your interests as structured projects, you guarantee that you only acquire specific, actionable knowledge, while naturally shedding the useless input that you would have forgotten anyway. This exact logic applies to the modern obsession with building a second brain. People spend countless hours saving bookmarks, organizing tags, and taking notes, only for those systems to devolve into digital graveyards of ideas they will never look at again. Historically, thinkers used commonplace books as active workshops for their ideas. They built these collections specifically to provide the raw fuel for future creations. Here we see Leonardo da Vinci's actual notebook pages. Notice how he packed them with mechanical sketches, random observations, and cross-disciplinary ideas, all sharing the exact same space. Collecting information remains a waste of time unless your subconscious is actively forced to digest it and forge it into an original creation. Look at Briss' visualization of interconnected nodes. In an era where AI can generate infinite amounts of information, hoarding data has zero value. The only real asset you have is your ability to map out a highly curated, unique worldview from the things you consume. Whether you are writing articles or making videos or building a business, audiences follow your specific point of view. That sense-making ability is formed exclusively by colliding the curated ideas you've collected. To put this into practice, you start the act of creation by selecting a topic. The most effective approach balances an idea that has proven market performance with something that sparks your deep personal curiosity. From there, you do not sit down and try to write linearly from a blank page. You dump all of your curated notes and chaotic ideas into one document, and then you force them into a structured outline. If you get stuck, use AI to remove the structural friction of organizing that outline. But you draw a strict boundary. Artificial intelligence exists to help you form out the structure. never to replace your personal judgment, your tone, or your actual voice. You will never remember what you read by trying harder to retain it. Knowledge only becomes a permanent part of your mind when you force it out into the real world through action, struggle, and creation.